This episode is brought to you by freedadcourse.com. You are always one conversation away from changing your life, and the power of hello is something that I subscribe to every single day, and I'm always saying hello to new people everywhere I go. Increasing your opportunity, increasing your connection, and getting access to the solutions to the problems that you are facing, whether you're on active duty or just beginning your veteran transition or even transitioning out for 20 years. On the other side of hello are the solutions that you're looking for. Again, head on over to freedadcourse.com. Get your 5-episode audio course to create more connection, create more friendships, and get back to living the life that you're trying to design.
Dory 1, this is Fire Team Delta. Dad's coming home.
Welcome to the Military Veteran Dad Podcast, where it is our mission to bring every dad home. I am your host, Ben Malloy. I'm a United States Marine veteran, husband, and a father. We will bring authentic conversations to inspire action in your life so we can close the gap between the dad you are today and the dad you want to be tomorrow. This is the Military Veteran Dad Podcast.
Welcome back to Fatherhood Friday. This is your official welcome to the week, and I am your host, Ben Malloy. And if this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by this episode. This podcast is all about you becoming a better dad. If you've been here for a long time, thank you, because from the bottom of my heart, I know this podcast helps you move the needle and become a better dad. Before we get started with this week's episode, I just got a quick announcement. We're going to take a slight shift in the programming schedule, and we're going to pause the interviews until April 5th. So on April 5th, the interview show will come back, and until then, there will always be a weekly Fatherhood Friday, and the Fatherhood Fridays will go into maybe a little bit more long form as well to kind of give you some additional content to listen to, so they're not as short, but they're still as meaningful. I'll take kind of the full breadth of all the different episodes. We've published 115 different episodes, so there's a lot of different stuff out there. I'll try to bring it in and focus on different things. So there's going to be a break in the interviews till April 5th, but there still will be a Fatherhood Friday. Going to bring April 5th, we're going to kind of take some shifts. I'm going to work to get some different types of interviews, and then we will be back with those on April 5th. So with that, let's talk about today's episode. So this is actually fresh off the idea press, and it came to me from watching the most recent episode of NCIS. If you know anything about me, you've been listening to the podcast, you know NCIS is one of my favorite shows. There's just something about that show that I've always really liked. Now, this episode in particular, a character died. And in the end of this, like the very end of the wrap up of this episode, they read a poem. And that poem was what they call an epitaph, which I didn't even know what that word was. I had to do some research on it, but that is essentially something that you read at a funeral. And so this poem is related to a funeral. But as I was listening to this poem on the episode, it just hit me, and I even started crying. Like there wasn't like a memory or anything that was relating to it, but it was just a very deep poem. And I wanted to share it with you because being a dad, or maybe you're a mom listening to this, wherever you are, this poem may be what you need to hear today, because in the episode, it was a poem that the directors, when his wife died, someone shared it with him, and when this character's died, they kind of brought it in for this guy as well. So without giving too much of that away, I don't want to spoil any of the episode if anybody hasn't seen it yet, but I want to read you this poem. So the title of this poem is the title of the poem is called The Epitaph, and it's by Merrit, Malloy. When I die, give what's left of me away. The children and old men that wait to die. If you need to cry, cry for your brother. Walk in the street beside you, and when you need me, put your arms in around anyone and give to them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not on your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that is left of me is love, give me away. And again, that was by Merrit, Malloy. If you wanted to go ahead and Google it, I will put a link of where I found the poem in the show notes for this episode. And that's about it. I wanted to gift you that poem because it was a very powerful episode and powerful poem and words, because if you have lost a loved one, these words could be exactly maybe what you need to reframe what you lost. It was a very powerful episode in what NCIS did and the writers did in that episode, and it inspired me to bring it to you. So with that said, now I brought the room down, and maybe you're crying as you go into the weekend. Let's shift the focus. Find a way to love maybe someone that you've lost, if this poem does resonate. And if someone's still here, find ways to celebrate life with them. Maybe this poem reminded you of what you have. This weekend is an opportunity to do that. Find a way to find the joy, to bring the joy. And all you got to do is bring yourself. And a lot of it will come true. So with that, guys, have an amazing weekend. And I won't talk to you on Monday, but I will talk to you again next Friday.